Our group did the impacts of climate change relating to crop security. So crop security revolves around 4 main aspects of crop and food security, all relating to producing high quality crops with minimized waste production. So the first being food availability, which relates to the farming and distribution process. Then there's access to food at an affordable price, having crops that contain proper nutrients and are safe for consumption, and finally providing people with stable and reliable access to food. So this flowchart here details how integrated the climate systems, food systems, and socioeconomic systems are. Food security shown to the right here is indirectly related to the impacts of changes in the climate system up top. To provide some background information relating to crop security on more of a global scale, the demand for food has increased, and the FAO estimates that there's a need to produce about 50% more food by 2050 in order to feed the increasing world population. This statistic is negatively correlated to the annual average growth rate of major crops, shown here, which has generally declined since the 1960s. Climate change threatens agriculture and food production. Aspects of climate change, including higher temperatures, water scarcity, extreme weather events like droughts and floods, and greater CO2 concentrations in the atmosphere, are all impacting staple crops around the world, more specifically cereal crops, including wheat, corn, and rice. Crop yields are decreasing, as mentioned earlier, and becoming more unpredictable. According to the FAO, the unpredictable yields for cereal crops in semi-arid regions of the world, like some areas in Africa, is at least 80% due to climate variability. Another example is that in areas like Bangladesh and Vietnam, rising sea levels pose threats to coastal farmland, which makes these areas more susceptible to flooding that can kill off crops.
So crop yield has been predicted to decrease in the next several years, and specific crops such as rice, maize, and wheat are projected to decrease between 3 and 10% per degree of warming above our current levels. One of the reasons crop yield is decreasing is because of an increase in weed, pests, and fungi, which all thrive under higher temperatures and higher CO2 levels. These increased temperatures can also lead to more severe drought, which makes it harder to access irrigation and will decrease crop yield as well. An increase in precipitation in certain areas can also lead to soil erosion, which will decrease the fertility of the soil and decrease crop yields. On the right, you can see the predicted crop yields in the years 2080 to 2099 in the USA. While in some areas the crop yield does increase, for the most part, it will decrease. As the years have gone on, the general crop yield has increased. However, droughts and floods have occurred more and more often and have become more and more severe. This is shown in the graph where the dips happen, which details a decline in production in specifically corn and other crops.
So despite the general decrease in crop yield, there are some crops such as sorghum that benefit from climate change in certain areas. Also, we have corn, which benefits in some places. So in the map here, we can see the green areas such as in the US, Latin America, and Asia. The green shows where growth has occurred, but the other colors show where there's a large decrease in crop yield. And there are also food shortages as a result of this. And as we can see in the charts, that industrialized countries or those with insufficient data are represented in gray. So the US, Russia, Canada, Australia, places like that are industrialized, so they weren't taken into account here, even though there are people who are starving and there's hunger there, but it's not enough to compare to places such as the Sahara in Africa and South Africa.
All right, so climate change also affects the nutrition of certain crops. For example, at elevated carbon dioxide levels, certain crops will have less protein or nutrients in them. And as a result of this, you think about it, it causes certain pests to have to eat more of the crop to sustain themselves, which leads to less production. And also, increased precipitation can wash away some of the soil, which can also take away some of the nutrients in the soil that the crops need.